we were living like anybody else. We had our apartment, and my husband would wake up, go to work every day. I would take care of the house, just the regular things that normal people do. You think you have a job and you think you're secure. And that's not always the way it is.
Throughout their adult lives, Jackie and Ben worked and made enough money to stay out of poverty, but not quite enough to stay current with their monthly bills. They thought they were doing okay, until life dealt them a challenge they weren't prepared for.
All of a sudden, his boss said there's no more work, and he had to let him go. He tried so hard to get a job. There was nothing available. Once you've seen that notice on that door, once you see that notice that you need to be out in 3 days, and you know that you have all these applications out there and nobody's calling you, that's the awakening. We had a 2-man tent, and we just went off somewhere in the woods where we thought we'd be safe. And me and my husband were homeless on and off for about 9 years.
For Jackie and Ben, living paycheck to paycheck was just what everybody does. Sadly, that statement isn't far from reality. According to studies conducted by the United Way, more than 30% of Floridians live stuck somewhere in between poverty and stability. They form a group the United Way identifies as ALICE, Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. And it may surprise you to learn who ALICE is.
There's a misconception that it's just people that are on the low socioeconomic status, right, are the ones that need to work 2-3 jobs. The reality is that people, even with a bachelor's degree, they're struggling too. And it's not because they haven't gotten their education, it's because there are other factors outside of themselves that are contributing to this community crisis.
For ALICE families, finding affordable quality housing and childcare represent a very serious financial challenge. It is not uncommon for an ALICE family to spend more than 45% of their monthly income on these two very basic needs. As a result, one small emergency or unforeseen incident can put them on a path similar to Jackie and Ben's. And while the struggle of these families is clear, there are implications for our entire community that are less obvious.
Manatee County is facing in the next 5 years a huge workforce shortage. The majority of people working here are baby boomers set to retire in the next 5 or 10 years, and there's not a large percentage of millennials living here that are able to work and replace them as they leave the workforce. A big part of why there aren't people to replace them is that they can't afford to live here. We need young people, fresh people. That's how growth works, is you have to have younger people coming in, working up to be able to fuel the entire growth of our economy.
Year after year, the number of ALICE families in our community continues to grow. If we don't come together to find a solution, the ALICE Community Challenge will have a deep impact on all of us.
If we choose to not care about what's going on in our community, to not lend a helping hand to those who need it, we're going to see all these other consequences because we didn't choose to invest. Because that's what it is. It's an investment into the community.
There are no easy answers, but the United Way Suncoast is pulling together community leaders, organized labor, faith-based groups, corporations, non-profit organizations, and governments to work towards finding a solution. Whether you're a community leader or just an everyday citizen who cares, we all have a role to play in solving this crisis. Contact the United Way Suncoast to learn what you can do.